555-7633, written by Jim Vision. My phone buzzed again in my pocket. Sometime last week, it became apparent my number had been sold to telemarketers. I added my number to the no-call list years ago, but that doesn't seem to stop some of these scammers. I had read online that all you needed to do is pick up and stay silent. The person or automated bot on the other end won't hear anything, assume your number is either a bad line or automated as well, and won't call back. It's true, try it sometime. I pulled out my phone and saw the word telemarketer in place of the phone number calling. Thanks, Apple. I answered and held the phone to my ear, waiting silently. I could hear the chatter of a busy call center. "Hello?" a voice said on the other end. "Hello? Is anyone there?" They paused for a moment and hung up. Last time I hear from them. I set my phone down on my desk and got back to work. It buzzed again. Another call. I sighed and reached for the phone. I was a bit surprised to see what I thought was my own number at first. It read 555-7633. I'm 555-7833, just one digit off. The difference was minute in design, almost like a deliberate choice. I didn't feel like answering this time. I set my phone down and let it go to voicemail. It buzzed again. Christ, I muttered to myself. I looked over and saw 555-7633 was calling again. I sent them to voicemail. Moments passed and they called again. I was getting frustrated. I sent the number to voicemail again. They called again. I watched my phone for a moment while it buzzed. "Fuck it," I mumbled, answering the call. I kept silent. No sounds of a call center. Must be a voice-activated bot waiting for me to say hello. I waited. Usually only takes about 10 seconds for the number to give up and hang up. After half a minute had gone by, I hung up. They called back. I immediately answered and waited. I heard a small click on the other end. I hung up. The number called back immediately. 555-7633. Just one number off mine. I'd read about this before too. It's called spoofing. The number looks familiar or nearly identical to yours in an attempt to get you to answer. You see the number, your area code, and a similar string of digits to yours, and they think you'll answer thinking it's someone from your area that you may know, or a nearby hospital calling you about bad news. They put a feeling in your stomach making you think you're doing the wrong thing by not answering. 555-7633 called back. I immediately answered and waited silently. I heard the click again, and then what sounded like movement. Was this even a spammer? Was this some kid trying to prank call me and forgetting to block their number? I waited. I was going to wait until they hung up this time. They know there's someone on the other end since I keep answering. I'll just waste their time now. 5 minutes later, I heard what sounded like a chair dragging on the floor, then a creak, and then finally what sounded like wind blowing into the microphone. I hung up. They called back immediately, and I answered. I was frustrated now, wishing I hadn't answered in the first place. "Hello, what do you want?" I blurted out. "Are you there?" a monotone voice asked. I hung up. They called back. I answered. I waited silently. I heard more movement this time, like something was being pushed along a surface at a constant rate. I heard what sounded like a low, whirring fan. I waited. I knew someone was on the other end now. I listened to the sounds for several minutes and noticed they sounded like they were getting further and further away from the phone. I was already frustrated, and now I was getting anxious, wondering what I'd gotten myself into. I lifted the phone from my ear to hang up when I heard it. "Please, I hung up immediately, wishing I hadn't. Suddenly, my heart was racing. I felt myself break a sweat. Did I just hear that? I wondered. They called back. I answered, and I waited. I could hear the whirring. I swallowed hard and took a breath. "Hello?" I asked. It was quiet for a moment. "Are you there?" the monotone voice from before asked. I paused and felt my chest tighten. I waited, unsure of what to say. "Please, help me." I heard it again. I did hear a cry for help. I really did this time. It was far from the phone. The voice was in pain, in agony. It was hoarse. It was afraid. I took a deep breath. I'm here, yes," I said. Silence. I could hear the whir still. It sounded a bit closer now. "Are you there?" the monotone voice asked again. "Yes, Oh God, please, please help me." They were closer now. I could hear sobbing too. Or was it whimpering? "Are you there?" "Yes, I'm here, yes, please." "Are you there?" "I'm here, yes, what do you want?" Stop, please stop it." "Are you there?" the monotone voice asked again. I felt a lump in my throat. There were tears in my eyes. Who was this? What was going on? "Are you there?" Yes, I am here, yes. Who are you? What is going on? Please help me. Somebody please help me. "Are you there?" I'm hanging up. I'm calling the police," I stammered. "Are you there?" the voice asked. "I'm calling the Help me! Somebody please!" "Are you there?" the voice asked. "I'm hanging up. I'm calling the police. Please stop," I whimpered. "Help, somebody, please. They're gonna kill me." "Are you there?" "I'm hanging up," I screamed. I threw my phone at my desk. I was shaking. My jaw was clenched. My face was wet with tears. My phone rang. 555-7633. I answered. "Help me!" "Are you there?" "Leave me alone!" I screamed at the top of my lungs. "Are you there?" Please, just leave me alone." "Are you there?" "Leave me alone, please just leave me." "Are you there?" I hung up. They called. I answered and immediately hung up. They called back. I sent the call to voicemail. They called back. I stared at the phone, wondering how to make this stop. I grabbed my phone. They called. I rejected it. I went to my recent calls. They called again, and I sent it to voicemail. I tapped 555-7633 to call it back. I held the phone to my ear. "The number you have dialed has been disconnected or is no longer in service. If you feel this is an error, please check the number dialed and try again." I hung up and called again. "The number you have..." I hung up, set my phone down, and waited. No call. I looked at my phone for a long time. It didn't ring again. 45 minutes later, I felt like I could breathe again. I stood up from my desk and walked to my bedroom to change. I'd sweat through what I had been wearing. I rinsed my face off in the bathroom sink and fixed my hair. I looked at myself in the mirror and thought about what had happened. I decided I was actually going to call the police and report the number. I stood up straight and relaxed my shoulders a bit. There was a knock at the door downstairs. I jumped, still shaken up. They knocked again. I began walking down the stairs. They kept knocking. "Coming," I shouted. "Just a second." The knocking was growing harder and constant now. I stopped at the door, attempting to regain composure. I reached for the doorknob, and the knocking stopped. I stood still for a moment. Did they walk away? I put my hand on the doorknob. Just as I began to turn it, my heart stopped. I fell to the floor, hearing the voice again, now on the other side of the door. "Are you there?" Thanks, everyone. I don't know about you guys, but this is why I never answer when someone calls me. Just shoot me a text. Have a great night, everyone. Love, the Mistress.